Ciao.
Episode of In a Few Minutes is sponsored by BetterHelp, online counseling that's there for you. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health at betterhelp.com/afew.
Guy's name. Where are you guys dumb? You guys are so dumb. I got this thing all figured out. I figured it out all by myself.
In my head. I've been listening to a lot of Cranberries lately.
I like the Cranberries.
Yeah. I've been listening to because Don McAllister actually talked about how sad it was that Dolores Reardon passed away, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but how sad it was that she passed away so young. I want to say she was like 51, 52. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we don't have that voice anymore. We don't have, her doing that thing. What's interesting, though, is he was more into her as a singer, not a huge fan of the Cranberries, it seems, because I was like, yeah, no need to argue. A camera was no need to argue, or everybody's doing it, but so why don't we? I think it was no need to argue. I had that CD just in my CD player for about 6 months one time. It became like, the sound in the background for me, to the point, and I tried to explain this to people, and it always ends up sounding insulting to the album. I would put on No Need to Argue, and it would put me in such a place that I would think, I should listen to music. And it wasn't like, that's not denigrating that album at all. It's just, it became part of the atmosphere for me. And I would want to, I'd want to listen to something to sort of augment that, and then realize, oh, actually, I am listening to something to augment that. That's how I got here. Anyway, in my head is what made me think of that, because, zombie. But we're not talking about music today. We're talking about what I think could be two of the dumbest stories of 2021. Oh, now we got 2 more months, so anything could happen in this anything could happen year. But I was thinking about the. Did I say that Bryan Chaffin is here with us, by the way?
Oh, hey, man.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Oh, Brian. Brian, stopped by, everybody. Bryan Chaffin, editor-in-chief of the Mac Observer. The two dumbest stories, I think, or maybe 2 dumbest stories, certainly 2 of the stories in the running for dumbest story of 2021 where Apple is concerned, are the washcloth and the notch. Which would you like to talk about first?
Go with the cloth.
Okay. So Apple introduced a $19 polishing cloth. Didn't even announce it during the Apple Unleashed event. Although I feel like if they had any idea what kind of hit it was going to be, they would have said, we're very excited to tell you about the M1 Pro. We're very excited about tell you about the M1 Max. But what we really want to tell you about, we've taken all of the old iPod socks and unfolded them. And now we're selling them for $19. We bleach them so there's no color. And we call it iCloth. But they don't, of course. They call it the polishing cloth because who cares? It's just a polishing cloth. It's the kind of thing. The first mention I saw of it was, can you believe they're doing this? And then all the rest of the mentions are, man, you can't even buy these things. They're sold out all over the place. If I wanted to order one right now for a stocking stuffer, I would need a time machine because they're delivering now in the middle of January. Well, it wouldn't surprise me. They're delivering now in the middle of January.
Yeah, they're not even listed under accessories. Where are they?
I don't know. I kept finding it through a link. Well, they're on eBay. You can find them on eBay. I found them earlier this week. Somebody actually had them.
How much?
One was a buy it now price of $49. One was a buy it now price of $50. And then everything else was an auction. But they had seriously just taken delivery that day. And I think the starting price was $19. And the next bid was $19.50 because they were expecting those to rocket up or something like that. I haven't checked lately. That was a week ago, though. Now, so I can't even answer that question with any kind of authority for people by the time they listen to this. What I said to Jeff Gamet last week was this sort of felt like the Tiffany keychain. It feels like the reason that people are buying this is because it's only $19 and it's from Apple, and there's a certain Beanie Baby or Cabbage Patch Kid frenzy around the whole thing right now. Like I can't get one, I got to get one. Do you see any other reason for this? I mean, I'm sure it's good. Well, I'm sure it's not going to scratch up your screen.
What if they made 10,000 of them because they didn't expect anyone to really want one?
Okay. I don't.
Delivers January 13th to the 27th currently, by the way. I'm ordering one right now.
Are you seriously ordering one right now?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the Apple polishing cloth, man.
Are you seriously ordering one right now?
I am wondering.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's the background.
Yeah.
I am seldom satisfied with what any kind of microfiber cloth does to my glasses.
Okay.
And goodness knows my devices need constant cleaning.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if Apple has actually done something with this from a material standpoint that will clean glass better than existing products. And I'm willing to pay $19 to find out.
To find out. Okay. You're willing to pay $19 to find out whether they have made microfiber the same way other people make microfiber better. Because I got to figure, here's the thing. I got to figure honestly what this was, well, we should give people something that we can guarantee, right? Because somebody's going to go out and they're going to buy like a sham wow and they're going to rub their computer with it and then it's going to scratch it up and then they're going to be mad at us. So why don't we give them a thing they could buy and then they'll find actually, like a real buffing solution, I suppose. I think Apple just wanted to give people something.
$1.20 back.
The $1.20?
The 6%.
Oh, there you go.
On Apple Card.
Are you buying it on installments, by the way? What would that be, like 48 cents a month?
I did actually pay for it outright.
Oh, okay. That's
just
cool.
Now, by the way. This did actually happen as we were recording.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm stunned, but I believe you. I'm looking forward, by the way, to my 5-cent commission that I get every time I talk about it. Cha-ching! Pretty sure that's how that's working. Did you, by the way, did you catch the part? I know we talked about the earnings call days ago, and I don't want to revisit that nightmare. But did you catch the part where Tim Cook was like, yeah, we'll probably start doing more stuff on, not installment, but like on monthly. I can't remember what they called it. There was a word that they used. But he said predominantly iPhone in the US right now is on monthly plans, not buying it outright. And while almost everything else that Apple has is bought outright, there's more interest in the monthly plan thing. And that number is growing. And don't be surprised to see more of that in the future.
I did catch that, and I also caught the analyst who was basically asking, what sparked that conversation was an analyst asking, do you expect to move more of your revenues to monthly installments?
Right. And
Wall Street, by the way, in this particular case, an analyst who advises some investors sees the value in Apple having those regular payments coming in.
Oh, absolutely. Man, if you give me a choice between, X amount of money or X amount of money a month, yeah, I like X amount of money a month. Recurring revenue is great.
Sure.
Yeah, I get that. And maybe they could just throw in the cloth.
I don't know, man. They could maybe sell it for $19 instead.
You think so? How about this? Sign up for a monthly plan for a Mac, plus the next 10 people get a polishing cloth. What's getting in the way of your happiness? If your answer is nothing, congratulations. If you had any other answer, help is out there. BetterHelp, sponsor of today's show. Here's how it works. You go to their app or their site, you answer a few questions, and BetterHelp goes to work finding the right licensed professional therapist for you. Then you work with them on stress, anxiety, grief, self-esteem issues, whatever's holding you back. And you do it in the way that's most comfortable for you. My last counselor and I used a combination of phone calls and text messages, all of it safe and secure inside the BetterHelp app. If you're hoping your problems will just go away on their own, they're probably not gonna. But help is out there. BetterHelp. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/afew. That's HELP. betterhelp.com/afew. As in a few minutes. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that is BetterHelp, HELP, betterhelp.com/afew. Back now with Bryan Chaffin. He is editor-in-chief of the Mac Observer, online at that's THUH, Mac Observer.
It's macobserver.com.
TheMacObserver.com. Or you can go to macobserver.com or themacobserver.com if you're erudite. All right, so the other story is actually not that stupid a story, but I find the reaction to the story incredibly stupid. They've introduced the notch to the new MacBook line. So the M1 Pro and M1 Max now get a little notch for the camera there. And what's neat is that gives them more screen room, except for the part with the notch in the middle. And a lot of people are I would say understandably frustrated, because sometimes stuff ends up under the notch.
That's legit to be frustrated about.
That is absolutely legit to be frustrated about. Now, of course, as we talked about on Mac OS Ken last week, it turns out a way around that. They need to make that way more obvious, because you have to go in and do, I can't remember what it is, but you go into the application, then you right click on the application, and then there is in the properties, there is a thing where you can say offset for camera or something along those lines. Basically, there's a way to dig down in and find a place where you can make it so that the notch doesn't affect it. It basically shrinks the presentation so that the notch is not in the middle of the thing that you're doing. And that should set us to do that from now on. Now, the thing is, I feel like that should be a more prevalent thing. That should be an easier thing to get to if Apple anticipated this might be a problem, which they obviously did, because it's buried in there somewhere. But the people who are kind of, going crazy about it, it reminds me of the 5 minutes after Apple introduced Apple Watch, and they sort of showed it, right? And the crown was on the right side, and people who are left-handed lost their minds because they thought, well, I'm going to have to reach all the way over here. And Apple was like, or you could turn it upside down, because this is software-based, and, we'll make it so that it works for people who are left-handed as well. The day after this thing comes out, amazingly, there are bugs, right? There are things that the developers hadn't accounted for. There are things that people just haven't quite gotten to the day after the thing came out. Is there room to say, all right, why don't we give them 5 minutes and see how developers in Apple get on with this notch thing? Or is it time to go ahead and call it a disaster?
I also liken it to people complaining about the notch on the iPhone.
Okay, sure.
Do you remember how that was the worst thing ever?
Yeah. I still, every day I wake up and I see the notch, and I contemplate throwing my phone out the window.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
I recall, now this may be revisionism, but I recall saying that I'm guessing we'll get used to this pretty quickly.
See, that sounds sensible, so I have no problem believing that you said that.
Anyone who's complaining about the notch being there, don't get me wrong, I have a ton of stuff in my menu bar, and it would be a little bit frustrating to have to curtail some of what I'm putting to because of the notch. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that the benefits to me are well worth it, and it's much ado about nothing. Now, people complaining about things being hidden, that is a legitimate complaint. I didn't know until you told me just now that there is a solution for that. That's fantastic. It does seem like Apple should have made that a little more evident, but again, it's something that'll be fixed. So like saying that this has to be fixed is one thing. Saying that this is a complete disaster, that's completely ridiculous, and I'm in agreement with you. If
this is something that's been bothering people, by the way, I think it's last Thursday's Mac OS Ken, so a week ago today. It would be either Wednesday, the 27th of October, or Thursday, the 28th of October. I actually went through what the steps are. I don't have them in front of me right now, but yeah, it's basically there's a way to go into. The thing that's a drag is it's not in any of the menu stuff that you would normally look for. You actually have to find the application. You have to go into something in the Finder. Not like you don't have to go as far as you don't have to type in code or anything like that. It's actually a checkbox, It would just be great if it was a checkbox that people knew that there were checkboxes.
Or if the OS was just actually solid for this. Don't put stuff underneath where the notches.
Yeah, well, I keep thinking about the thing of like, both the computer and the operating system came out less than 2 weeks ago as people hear this. So, life on the bleeding edge.